Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Strange Stuff. And what's really strange this week is that Mark has had a bit of a transformation.
Mark is now a lump of lard.
Well, he is away for 2 weeks, as was mentioned last week. And I have to warn you, you've got a very small pair of shoes to fill.
Well, for starters, how does knowing that King Arthur was not real and was a legend?
Oh, it's sad that you've actually listened to a couple of episodes because you'll know exactly what's expected of you, which is pretty much fuck all.
I did forget to buy snacks, and I don't have a leg of lamb to roast halfway through.
Oh, damn. How will we survive? Anyway, he's going to be sorry he missed this because we've got some news, some business news.
Ooh,
We've actually got a new patron.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my old mate Kevin.
Oh, wow. Well, from London, Kev.
Yeah, you know Kevin.
Ah. Yeah, I know Kevin very well.
He's been listening from day one. It's about time the mean old fucker put his hand in his pocket.
All right, Kev, how you doing? I miss Kev. He was funny, man.
Yes, he is, and he was, and he always will be. But thanks very much, Kev. Much appreciated, as are all our Patreons, because especially in these times of high unemployment. But anyway, on with what we're talking about. Now, as you know, with Mark, we talk a lot of shite before we actually get into the meat of the matter. So have you brought any shite with you?
No, I haven't actually seen the news for the last 2 or 3 days. I'm kind of avoiding it after they shot Mr. Right-wing Nazi. I kind of figured there wasn't going to be much in the news other than that for the next few days.
Well, there's a problem. There's a problem with Charlie Kirk. There's a problem with Charlie Kirk. And the problem is that some people think he's a right-wing Nazi. Other people think he's just a normal, decent Christian guy. And depending on whether or not you take him out of context, he can be either. Because he does have some views, but basically he's not actually, I mean, the media, some parts of the media, and certainly the LBGTQ trans terrorist lot will have you believe that he is slightly to the right of Hitler. But in fact, I've seen him debate trans people, and he's actually just asked quite genuine questions. And he just points out quite obvious facts. So although I did start off on that foot when I discussed it with Mark last week, I said no real loss because I'd been reading a few things. But in fact, I'm a little bit undecided now. I mean, he had his bad points, as do we all. But at the end of the day, he was still assassinated for just saying what he believed in, which I don't agree with.
Yeah. I don't know much about the assassin. I presume that it's a white guy. Disgruntled about something. A white guy. But is there anything he's disgruntled about in particular with this guy?
He's basically he was very much an attention seeker from what I can read, and he told his friends on Facebook of his plans, basically, and allegedly he told them where he hid the gun and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. I don't know. He's just a fucking lemon.
You see, I've reached a point now where my cynicism and my mistrust is, when I happened to catch it on the news the night it happened, not long after it had happened. And I instantly kind of thought, well, is this a pissed off LGBTQT person? Is this just another American nutter? Or is this something that some black ops CIA mob have done in an attempt to stir up racial hatred so that Trump can put more troops on the street and they can bit by bit turn America into Nazi Germany.
Well, they're already doing that, and there's basically martial law in much of America.
But this is it, you know. I'm wondering, well, you know, are they, you know, provoking shit? Is that the reason this?
Well, I mean, this is possible. There is questions about how this 22-year-old fucking wet wipe was able to carry out a shot from 350 yards.
Yeah.
So accurately.
Yeah, but, that's a long distance.
It is a long distance. I was shooting with my mate Robin a couple of weeks back, and the maximum we went was 100 yards. And there's no way I could have hit you in the neck from 100. And I'm not a terrible shot, but I would not have got you in the neck.
I mean, it's possible he was aiming at the head or the torso, and the neck just happened to be a lucky for him.
Well, I shot a couple of tin cans at 50 yards, and we had targets set up at 100 yards. The tin cans, I was 50% hit and miss. You know, when I hit them, I hit them straight through the middle. They weren't just sort of at the top or the bottom or glancing off the sides. But looking through the sight, it's just like that. It doesn't matter how much you hold your breath. Yeah. And the more you do that, the further the distance, the more the bullet is going to go left, right, up and down.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And I mean, just half a millimetre at your end is yards. When you've travelled 100 yards, it's way past the target.
Sure, he had a tripod.
Again, this is what I wondered, you know. I mean, I know that, you know, a lot of these kids in America, they're shooting from the moment they can hold a gun. So, you know, it doesn't have to be special forces trained to be a good shot. But
no, you just need a hell of a lot of practice.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, maybe that's all the kid ever did, was sit in his garden and shoot his gun all day long. But, I just find that I cannot take any news like this on face value anymore. Now, whether I'm cynical, whether I've just been sucked into the whole conspiracy thing, I don't know. But there's no doubt that politicians manipulate circumstances. So, I don't trust the news when it comes to shit like this anymore.
Well, you can't trust them with anything. Absolutely anything. And funny enough, the story we're going to talk about today has a lot to do with the news. But it's a bit too early to get into that just yet.
Okay.
I saw that Keir Starmer has signed the biggest deal ever with Donald Trump to the tune of £250 billion. But that's not quite the truth. The truth is there's 150 billion coming into the UK and 100 billion going out of the UK. The other way.
Right, yeah.
They reckon
so it's a net of 50 billion then?
Yeah. So they reckon it will create 15,000 jobs, and it's to build, unfortunately, AI, which is going to take away 150 million jobs.
Yes, indeed.
So I just don't
long
see
term,
what they're
it's not a great
celebrating.
plan. No. And again, I don't, in theory, have any problem with the idea of AI doing tedious, data work, or, even being insurance and accountants and all of that. But nobody's planning what to do with a workforce that's then unemployed. And
there is no plan.
That's the problem, isn't it? No, exactly.
There is no plan.
But there's no long-term plan with any of this lot anymore.
We will end up in a dystopian Mad Max type society where the rich will be shagging each other senseless, creating inbred monsters in their little paradise served by their AIs, while we will live in the fucking Badlands, killing and maiming each other for a pint of petrol.
Although I was reading something, I thought it was a great point. It was a guy who was talking about the amount of rich fuckers who've been buying land in New Zealand and building these retreats. The idea is that when it all goes
the end of the
up,
world,
they're gonna leg it there. But and I thought you made a great point. He said, so there you are, you, your missus, your kids, your servants, slaves, whatever, and a small army of private security. Now, it's going to get to a point where the private security go, well, the world is fucked, isn't it? So why are we going to stand around looking after this git?
Yeah.
Why don't we just shoot the git and his entire family, and then we can
now
live
it's
in
my
his
house.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, there's no easy way.
So this guy reckoned that on average they'd last about 6 weeks once they'd got there before the security guards went, yeah, sod this.
Yeah, it wouldn't be long.
No.
Hello, mate.
No, indeed. No, this is the one fundamental mistake they make, isn't it? The assumption that money will somehow save them in a situation where there's, money becomes useless.
Yeah, what are you going to do with your wages?
Yeah.
You're not going to go clubbing.
No, and because it's all electronic, they can't even burn it to keep themselves warm in winter.
No. And also, who's to say that there's a banking system that allows you to get paid anyway?
Well, no, this is it. There won't be, will there?
No. You'd have to barter.
The moment your private security realise that, even if you're still paying them, it's worthless and they can't buy any food, and then they're wholly dependent on Mr. Rich Man.
But even if you're bartering for their services, everything that they are using to barter is on site. Yeah. So you can just take it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, no, money does not help in those circumstances. I mean, nobody ever stood in the middle of Sodom and Gomorrah and shouted, I'll be fine, I've got 3 million shekels.
No. Well, did they?
Well, even if they did, it didn't do them a lot of good, did it? I mean, there may be a delusional idiot who tried that, but, when the sky is raining fire down on your head, sticking, even if you've got £1 million in cash on your head, it's not going to save you for long.
Unless it's in gold bullion.
Yeah, that'll save you for a while. But then, you see, I've always thought the trouble with gold bullion is, as wonderful as the idea is, that gold never loses its value, whereas cash does. It's very hard to carry bags and bags of gold bullion around with you everywhere. I mean, hence we invented paper money.
Yeah, but the point is you don't need a lot of it because of the value.
Well, now in a post-apocalyptic situation, one of those bars of gold, how much is that going to be worth?
It depends on how many pints of petrol you get for 1 bar of gold.
Well, indeed, but it may turn out that 1 bar of gold will get you a bottle of water under the right circumstances. So even then, gold only holds its value if there's somebody out there who wants to buy it at that value.
And you can't be sure that water won't give you typhoid.
Indeed. Never buy bottled water from a girl called Mary.
Exactly. Anywho, I don't know if you heard our episode a while ago on the Enfield haunting.
No, I didn't. I missed that one.
It was used as a loose basis for the film The Conjuring 2.
Right, I haven't seen the movie, but I'm vaguely familiar with the Enfield haunting. There was
It was a family called the Hodgsons, I believe.
BBC did a 2 or 3-parter on it a few years ago now, and it was called the Enfield Haunting, was what the program was called. So yeah, I did watch that. I don't have a massive memory of all of it, but
sorry, I'm getting assaulted on the keyboard. He's liable to stop the recording any second.
What do you expect? They call it a mouse.
But anyway, we're not going to talk about the Enfield haunting because me and Mark already did that. Right. But this month comes out the latest Conjuring film, Conjuring 3: Last Rites.
I'm not familiar with these conjuring.
I have to
movies.
say, I've never seen any of them. I'm not that kind of
They
film fan.
horror, I take it.
Not really. Yeah, I mean, it's
Supernatural horror.
but it's also Hollywood horror.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely nowhere near what actually happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure. Good
you
God,
can, you can be sure
the truth.
You can be sure that the daughter was nowhere near that hot.
Yes.
Especially if she was from England. No offence. But yeah, the film comes out this month, apparently, and it's based on a family called the Smurls.
The Smurls.
Yeah, which is an unfortunate name.
Yeah.
It be what it be. So aside from the obvious hype factor, movies are often marketed as being based on true stories because that makes it easier for the filmmakers to place audiences in the right mindset for their cinematic jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
After all, suspecting that the story could be true can sometimes be just as scary as knowing that it is. And if there's one franchise which has capitalized on this, it is The Conjuring, because every one of their films has been loosely based on a true story.
Yeah. But they're different stories, I take it, then. It's not the same, yeah, right.
Yes, no, there's no part 2,
so
part 3.
Why The Conjuring? I mean, that suggests magicians, card
it does.
trick guys.
It does. It's also a clue, probably, as to the efficacy of how much these hauntings are actually real, how much they're imagined, and how much they're just fucking plain made up.
Yeah.
I mean, I love a good ghost story, and I want them to be real. I've yet to be convinced. It's a bit like alien abductions and seeing aliens. I really, really need it to be true.
Yeah.
But just haven't seen a decent picture of E.T. so far.
I did see a ghost once.
I'm not surprised in Soho.
I was walking down Northumberland Avenue, reads from Trafalgar Square down to Waterloo Bridge.
Yep.
And I was heading for the last train. It's about midnight. Not many people about. And this guy just walked across the road in front of me. I kind of clocked him. And initially I thought he was a chef because there's a lot of white involved and a big tall hat. And then he sort of disappeared through what I assumed was a doorway. And then as I got level with it, it turned out there was no doorway. It was just a wall. And so I replayed it in my head. Being dyslexic, visually I've got a good head like that. So I replayed it in my head and realised that this was not a chef. This was actually a top hat and frock coat gentleman. But white from top to bottom, who just crossed Northumberland Avenue and walked through a wall. Mm-hmm. And and to this day, I have no idea. I was not off my tits. I was not hallucinating it. I was not making it up. I was going home early, so I was still sober. So yeah, that is my one and only experience of what may have been a supernatural being. I mean, the clothing fitted the area. Northumberland Avenue has always been quite posh, and it's been there for hundreds of years.
Northumberland Avenue, Pall Mall.
Yeah. So he did fit in. So yeah, I mean, I did not get any goosebumps. I did not feel any drop in temperature, and no bunch of film crew leapt out and started talking absolute bloody nonsense. So, I have no idea, but there you go.
Well, I have, unfortunately, to my I can't remember ever having seen a ghost. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I haven't. I just might have forgotten because I was drunk.
Well, yes. And as you say, walk around Soho when it's busy of a night time.
You might not even notice.
You'd have dozens of ghosts wandering around and you wouldn't notice, would you?
No, because people are dressed so fucking weird anyway. You certainly wouldn't notice if there was some 16th century beggar boy standing on the corner, tipping his cap at you, governor.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, we've digressed, and I'm having real trouble using my mouse now for obvious reasons. But our story begins in 1973 when the Smurl family, I wish they'd really just gone the whole hog and called themselves the Smurfs.
Yeah, that's what keeps popping in my head.
I know, it's you can't help it.
Nope.
When the Smurl family moved into an aging duplex in West Pittston. Now, a duplex, for our English fans, is basically like a terraced house, but it's only one house one side, one house the other side.
Oh, is that what duplex is it?
It's a two-apartment situation.
Right.
Built into one building. Yeah. Basically. So either two houses or two flats built from the same outside facade.
Yeah.
As it were.
Now, I'm taking this as in America then.
Yes, because I'm pretty sure I said it was in Pennsylvania.
Right.
Or I was coming to that bit.
Okay.
It was, in fact, in West Pittston in Pennsylvania. Having lost their original home due to the flooding from the previous year's Hurricane Agnes.
What year was this?
73.
Okay.
Jack and Janet Smurl were looking forward to a fresh start for themselves. No. Yeah, Jack and Janet.
No.
Jack and Jenny.
They'd have loved the 80s in this country then, because they could have had their names put on one of those sun visor things across the front of their windscreen of their car. That was a trend.
I wonder if they were called JJ as a couple.
Oh. The Welsh do that. They got this horrible habit of naming houses half the husband's name and half the wife's name, and it comes out some dreadful house names. It's an awful habit.
I can imagine. Okay, so they were looking forward to starting again with themselves, their daughters, and Jack's parents.
Oh, okay.
As they began renovating their new place on Chase Street. A neuropsychiatric technician that had previously served in the Navy was Jack. He poured all of his savings into the project.
I would ask you what that is, but I got a feeling you have no more idea than I have.
I would imagine that a neuropsychiatric technician is someone...
He's the bloke who plugs in the things they put on either side of your head to give you electric
basically
shock therapy.
He's the one standing by with the paddles.
Yeah.
I mean, what a fucking nonsense job title.
Yep.
And who decided that the Navy needed such a fucking job?
Well, I don't know. I'm sure there are plenty of nutters in the Navy.
It's no wonder you can't afford to buy a boat these days. Anyway, the family barely had any time to settle in before the house's existing residents let them know that the living weren't exactly welcome there.
Mm.
It began subtly enough, with tools disappearing here and there. Happens all the time in London.
Yep.
And odd electrical mishaps.
Sort of. Completely aside, but you just reminded me of it. I need to look it up again. But in Iceland, they have a name for this. It's an actual thing by which you steal all your neighbour's tools by just borrowing them and never giving them back.
Yeah. I mean, that's been going on for centuries.
Yeah, but in Iceland, they have an actual name for it.
Do you know what the name is?
No, I'd have to look it up. I can look it up now if you want.
Oh, I probably can live without it, but you can do it while
right.
I continue. But the activity soon escalated to include unexplainable noises and sudden odours reminiscent of sulphur and rotting flesh. Yeah. That figures.
Yeah.
Not to mention the occasional shadowy figure floating through the hallways.
Ooh.
Now, this increase in bizarre events coincided with quite a rough patch in the family's history. But it wasn't long before they were all convinced that they were not alone on Chase Street.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this was only the beginning of quite a lengthy ordeal, as the paranormal activity became more frequent and ever more aggressive as the years went by. What began as a spooky nuisance slowly progressed into horrific acts of violence spread out through the better part of a decade. From one of the Smurl's daughters being pushed down a flight of stairs.
Ouch.
To the family dog being thrown against a wall.
Yeah. Poor dog.
The attacks only got worse when Janet gave birth to twins. The supernatural abuse culminated in the sexual assault of both Jack and Janet Smurl by what was later explained to be a succubus.
Okay. That's pretty specific.
Yes.
Yes. I've always amazed that hasn't ever ended up being a speciality in the sex trade.
I think, I'm not sure if I was molested by a succubus, I would ever say anything. I would just probably keep my mouth shut and hope that a good thing never comes to an end.
Absolutely, yes.
You don't have to take it out. You don't have to buy it dinner.
No,
It sounds
indeed.
fucking ideal. I mean, I don't know. It just sounds like the perfect woman to me. Anyway, desperate for answers, the Smurls repeatedly contacted the Catholic Church. I don't know why.
Yeah, indeed.
However, while a series of priests visited the house and performed a deluge of blessings, nothing seemed to get rid of the evil forces that haunted the family.
I do like the idea, though, of fighting ghosts with a Holy Ghost.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't
like
take a knife to a gunfight.
No, but it's like top trumps, isn't it? My ghost trumps your ghost.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the locals began to resent all of the negative attention, bringing their house values down. With the family soon getting harassed by neighbours who were accusing them of being money-hungry charlatans out to make a quick buck. All of this despite the fact that the Smurls never actually profited off of the haunting or any of its adaptations. Some of these confrontations even became violent, with strangers going so far as to throw bricks at the house in order to scare the family away.
I was going to say, it's like pitchforks time, isn't it?
Yeah. If you don't understand it, shoot it.
Yeah.
Isolated in a hostile community and besieged by unknowable forces inside their own home, it's no surprise that the Smurls would eventually turn to the Warrens for help. I don't know if you're aware of the Warrens.
No, there's a place in America called the Warrens.
Ed and Lorraine. Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Are they
a couple of fairly famous demonologists, they call themselves.
Right.
Charlatans, I would call them. They were involved in the Enfield haunting because publicity, but everywhere there's a sighting, it's not who you're going to call Ghostbusters, it's who you're going to call the Warrens. So they made a fucking career out of believing in your ghosts.
The American versions of Derek O'Connor, then.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
And why does he not come back and haunt anybody?
He's just realised it's not the thing, is it? He knows now that he was a scammer. Yeah, the Warrens are absolutely unqualified in any scientific or paranormal sense whatsoever, but they have forced themselves into a little niche marketplace of being the experts in America on hauntings.
Tell enough people you are, somebody will believe you eventually.
Well, exactly. Always available for Oprah and fucking Jerry Springer and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So having previously helped the mother of a local professor with her own supernatural issues, the Warrens were recommended to the Smurls as the only ones capable of putting a definitive stop to their daily horror. And it's here, actually, that we find the most documented information on the Smurl haunting, as Ed and Lorraine, with the help of their psychic nurse friend, Rosemary Frew, sounds like a thruple.
So you got the Smurs friends with the Frews.
Yes, I know.
This is turning into like BBC children's TV.
Yeah, Barney, Dibble and Trump. But they kept extensive records of the investigation that occurred throughout 1986. The first thing that stood out to the ghost-busting couple was the fact that the Smurls hadn't actually done anything to open a doorway for these otherworldly entities, with Ed Warren explaining that the family was simply one of the chosen people who were selected to take part in a cosmic game beyond their control.
So it's not that they happen to just move into a haunted house then?
No, they're chosen.
Okay.
The Warrens then identified, because this is what they did, 4 distinct entities that shared the house with the family. 3 of these were human spirits. The last one was a purely demonic force that fed on its victims' fear. Now, over the course of the next several months, Ed and Lorraine accumulated several hours' worth of audio recordings containing noise that they claimed was caused by the demon, as well as a collection of notes and photographs. Of course, the spirits weren't going to relinquish their hold on the Smurls so easily, so the Warrens allegedly experienced frequent poltergeist activity, temperature drops, and shadowy apparitions as they played Gregorian chants on a loop. Fuck me, you can imagine all the demons going, whoa, sounds like there's a rave going on in Pennsylvania, man.
No,
What is wrong with these people?
Should have played Barbie Girl on loop. That would have got rid of them.
That would have got the demons in.
Yeah.
And they prayed for the family's safety.
Of course.
At one point, Ed claims to have found a message scrawled onto a mirror, with the demon ominously demanding that he and Lorraine get out. I don't know how the demon knew her name.
Oh, was it addressed by name? Was it?
I don't know, but I mean, if he just said you and the bitch, it could have been any one of them.
Yeah. I don't suppose it says what this was written in, was it?
No.
Blood, lipstick.
Steam.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be anything. While the Warrens never reached a definitive conclusion with their investigation.
Obviously.
Well, actually, it's known as the one case that they never really solved.
Oh, they solved these cases, do they?
Well, I'd like to define solved.
Yes, indeed.
There wasn't a satisfactory outcome from the Warrens. Let's just say that. The Smurls claimed that another round of blessings and prayers eventually turned their lives back to normal. However, as is usually the case with this kind of paranormal phenomena, skeptics expressed doubt that the house on Cave Street was actually haunted at all.
Well, that's what skeptics have to do. That's their job.
Yeah, but otherwise they wouldn't be skeptics.
No, indeed.
And someone's got to do it until AI takes that job over.
Yep.
So critics ended up exposing medical records proving that Jack's judgment was slightly impaired by brain surgery, which had been conducted in 1983. And if it was in 1893, it would have been really funny.
Trepanning.
Most paranormal investigators revealed that their visits saw zero evidence of a supernatural presence. Several psychologists and at least one theologist also insisted that there were less than demonic explanations for the family's ordeal, with some skeptics citing the lack of independent observation to discredit the Warrens' investigation.
I was going to say, nobody's going to agree with the Warrens because I've got a feeling that every other paranormal investigator is going to hate the Warrens.
They already hate them. They are the most hated fucking pair of charlatans in America.
So even if they came up with categoric 100% proof that ghosts exist,
even if they had the headless horseman standing next to them at a press conference, there would be questions.
Yep.
So even the Catholic Church claimed that none of the priests who visited the property experienced anything unusual, although Janet was adamant that a Vatican-approved priest had performed a series of unsuccessful exorcisms, with the evil entity allegedly moving from one of the houses to another to escape the ritual. See? There's a demon using its head.
Again, don't wish to split hairs, but all priests are Vatican sanctioned by the very nature of being a priest.
You've just frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, you're back.
Yes.
All generally
all
that
priests
is
are sanctioned by the Vatican. You don't get
like
the badge.
Saying, that's like saying a government-approved soldier.
Yes, it is.
Regardless of its veracity, the Smurl case came to be such an infamous incident that it already spawned a surprisingly effective TV movie back in 1991, with Robert Mandel's The Haunted even going on to inspire the first Conjuring film. However, if you want more information on the original story, the book that the movie is based on, The Haunted, One Family's Nightmare, as well as Ed and Lorraine's interviews about the event. But I wouldn't recommend that as research, to be honest. But at the end of the day, whether or not you believe in the preternatural details of this incident, it's up to you to decide. However, despite my own fairly skeptical point of view, I still appreciate the thrills of a good ghost story. And I think that the Smurl Haunting has a lot of potential when it comes to frightening people in an audience for when the film comes out this month. But I still won't bother seeing it. I did...
It's what always struck me, though, about real hauntings is what makes any movie, but, especially horror, supernatural horror movies, is that the soundtrack.
Yeah, the atmospherics.
It's the music
ambience
that terrifies you. Sod all else.
You did
it's the
freeze.
Music. So without the music, it's just somebody knocking on the door, isn't it?
Well, exactly. Yeah, the ambiance is all. Yeah. But I mean, that unfortunately, that is it. That is the meat of this week's episode. And because there wasn't so much meat, it just adds to the fact that there wasn't really much to talk about from my point of view.
Yeah. I mean, did anybody go down the local town hall and look up who used to live in the house? You know, did they bother with
Well,
such trivial
this is the thing. There was no history, and the point is also after they left, I think the old man died of a heart. No, his mother-in-law had a heart attack in the house, which they put down to this haunting. But then it all sort of stopped.
So not old age then?
No, it wouldn't be that. But it all sort of stopped after the old man died, and the family moved out. And the next family that moved in had no experiences whatsoever.
No, well, maybe they were selected then.
They were chosen.
Maybe they were chosen, targeted by demonic forces.
Yeah. So that's the story of the Smurl family haunting. Okay. And I mean, apart from the succubus, I can't see a lot of wank material in the whole fucking film.
No, indeed. Were there any kids in his house?
Yes, there was the daughters.
Okay. So the banging and the thumping wasn't the grandfather.
There's a whole fucking heap of them, actually. It looks
doing
like
doing nefarious. Right. So it wasn't the grandfather doing nefarious shit in the middle of the night then?
No, but it could. The problem with girls, and I mean this most respectfully, is like in the Enfield haunting, there were two daughters, Janet and I can't remember her name, but they eventually admitted to a degree of fakery. Mm-hmm. And it was them banging and knocking and chucking things about and all the rest of it. And girls, they're prone to do this. If you lock them up for long enough, they will throw stuff. I know. I've locked up a few.
No, but I mean, you know, I can see that being fun if you're a bored teenager, you know, stuck in a house, then it's going to be delightful fun to have the whole family convinced you've got poltergeist, isn't it? You know, it's going to be something to giggle about under the sheets late
Freak
at night.
mum out.
There was a couple of Victorian ones as well, where eventually the maid or one of the daughters or somebody came forward and said, actually, it was me doing it the whole time. I just found this creaky floorboard upstairs. And
so I just stand on it.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I'm yet to find one that convinces me. So if any of you out there have one or know of one that is sufficiently scary or has enough proof behind it or enough witnesses that I can take it seriously, please let me know, because I look and I look and I look and I'm always disappointed.
See, the other thing that's always struck me is, right, so if you're a poltergeist and you have the means by which to move around physical objects, I wanted people out of my house as a poltergeist, I would throw them out the window.
Yeah,
I wouldn't move the furniture around.
Yeah.
Or bang things. I would physically chuck them out of a first-story window. That would make them leave. And this is the problem with all of these stories, isn't it? Is nobody ever gets harmed, no matter how malicious these spirits supposedly are, and their ability to manipulate, solid objects. You never hear of anybody who, suddenly knives flew across the kitchen and
stuck in their eyes.
Yeah, these ghosts, for all their "we hate you, we're going to do horrible things to you," never do.
No.
I mean, human beings like being scared in a kind of safe way. There was a school camp, it's still there in Wales, a place called Llangranog. And I imagine the toilets have been replaced by now. I went there for a week as a kid. But there was this legend that the toilet block, the girls' toilet block, which, as you can imagine, this thing had been built in the 50s or the 60s. So it's just concrete, with a bunch of cubicles in it.
Do you know what? There are men out there who would pay to go and sniff that toilet block.
Oh, I'm sure there are, yes. Yeah, sadly, absolutely. But even my cousin claimed, the story went that there was a ghost of an old woman wearing a long white nightie who haunted this toilet block. And my cousin claimed to have seen it about 3 a.m. when she had to go for a pee, and got herself right worked up about it. But every year, girls claim that they've seen this ghost.
Yeah.
But again, why would an old lady haunt a toilet block?
Well, she might have had a traumatic experience there.
Well, this is entirely possible. I mean, it's a school camp, so yes, that is entirely possible. But, a lot of them are always somewhat improbable. This is the thing with them. I just find the idea that, there may have been a cottage there once upon a time, but, there's toilet blocks in the middle of a field, so it's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
Why any ghost would want to haunt a toilet for girls in a school camp.
It's amazing where ghosts will hang out. I mean,
again, I can buy into a degree this idea that certain rocks can record almost like a tape.
Yeah.
And then you can have a ghostly apparition on a kind of loop, but that doesn't explain moving furniture and stuff like that.
But would that be a rock recording, or would it be more like a psychic imprint that was strong enough to be seen or felt by other people?
Well, it's kind of a combination of both, I suppose, isn't it?
Because imagine if it was recorded on the rock, and you, as a rock collector, one day stumbled across this rock and went, "Oh, that's a bloody good specimen. I'll have that one, take it home with me." And you've inadvertently turned your house into the most haunted house in Lower Mitchbury.
Yeah, indeed. Or even better, bring a rock home and suddenly a small holographic princess from the future stands there. Save me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, I had questions about that as well when Star Wars came out. I think Star Wars wasn't Star Wars the original around about 1977.
77, I think, yeah.
Which was the year of Elvis, the year of the Silver Jubilee, and the year of Mark Bolan.
Yes, indeed.
In fact, Mark Bolan was this very week.
Was it?
All those years ago. I think it was the 16th of September.
So he's one of those. I suspect that at the end of the day, it was probably for the best. The idea of a fat, bald Mark Bolan still gigging T-Rex now would be appalling.
Or, God forbid, he went the same route as Gary Glitter.
Well, yeah, that as well. I mean, it's the same.
That would be even worse.
On the anniversary of Hendrix's death, I'm going back 10 years ago or more now, they had a load of blues people do a Albert Hall gig.
Yeah.
Much like, Eric Clapton did, was it 30 days, 30 nights at the Albert Hall or something ridiculous?
That's right.
And I remember talking about it in the bar and saying, I don't think I'd want to go and see Hendrix now, at the age of 60 or whatever, because I don't know, life, the music industry, a lot of them end up being a very sad parody of themselves. So
yeah, there's very few come out looking like rock stars.
Yeah. So I think for the sake, Mark Bolan will forever be young and horny, won't he? Forever. Yeah. Much like Hendrix, much like all of those, Jim Morrison. I mean, Jim Morrison was already sliding into fat, middle-aged, drunken wanker anyway, so his legacy would not have survived 5 years of him blundering around being an absolute git.
I think Jimi Hendrix holds the record for having the most guitars stolen whilst on tour.
I can imagine, yes.
Because it seems like every venue there's a lost Hendrix guitar, even the marquee. There was a black Stratocaster went missing that nobody has ever found.
Yeah. No, well, like a lot of these guitarists, I'm sure he was given an awful lot of guitars that he didn't give a shit
Well, he
about.
destroyed a lot as well.
Yeah.
But,
maybe when you've learned to play on an old broomstick, maybe you just don't see the value in an individual guitar.
Yeah, probably. Oh, I wish I had that kind of money.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway,
Indeed.
that does bring us to the end of this week's haunting episode. Mark will be sorry he missed it because it was
sure.
kind of a part 2.
Right.
He will listen to this, but he'll deny it.
Okay.
He will listen to judge the competition, but he'll deny that he listened because he doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
So we can say what we want and we'll never be pulled up about it. Because he can't, in all fairness, pull us up on something we say about him if he never actually listened to the episode.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
So, you posh twat.
Your very own catch-22.
So I hope you're having a good time in England.
Is that where he is it?
Yeah, he's home for 2 weeks for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't think it's for a funeral, for a change.
No, I was going to say, it has been for a while now, hasn't it? Every time he seems to be back, it's for a funeral.
Yeah, well, we're all at that stage of life, unfortunately. I spoke to my younger brother yesterday for the first time in a few months, actually, because since they closed Skype, he's had trouble installing Teams.
Okay.
But I shamed him into it yesterday, finally, by asking him to get a child to help him.
And how is he?
He's fine.
Yeah. He's still in London.
Yeah, more or less. He sold his Camden place many years ago and bought a house in not far from Enfield, actually, North London.
Right.
But he's at the very end of the Northern Line.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the Northern Line.
Yeah.
It's a long time since
technically not London then, but people claim that.
He's on the train. He's on the tube still, so technically, but you actually walk away from the tube line to get to his house. So just outside, I would say.
Because I was having a conversation with somebody not that long ago, and they were like, I lived in London for years. I said, where'd you live? And they went, High Barnet. I said, that's not London.
Yeah, actually, Barnet is probably the borough which he comes under.
Right.
So it would be what they used to call Greater London that we call the North.
Yes.
So in and out of London, really.
Yeah.
But he still works at the Royal Shakespeare Theatre.
Oh, okay.
He's not a dancer.
No. Or a Shakespearean actor, I don't imagine.
Actually, it's not the Royal Shakespeare. It's one of the ballet places.
All right. D'Oyly Carte. What else have you got?
Oh God, it's very famous.
You got D'Oyly. Is it D'Oyly Carte?
It's not that one.
No. I don't know, to be honest with you.
It's the something.
Is it the Royal Ballet? I don't know. I really don't. I ballet leaves me cold. I love Tchaikovsky, and I knew Swan Lake, the music, very well years ago. Sadler's Wells. Oh yeah, of course.
There you go.
But they showed it on BBC Two or something late one night, the whole of Swan Lake, and I sat down in front of the TV, and the music was still phenomenal, but a bunch of birds tottering around on their tiptoes wearing those stupid tutus. I found it dull as hell.
See, Ronnie's in a better position because he can watch the performances if he wants, but as part of the maintenance staff of Sadler's Wells, he gets to watch the dancers live while they're getting changed for their rehearsals and for their performances.
Which is going to be far more entertaining.
Which is much more entertaining and not perverted at all.
No. But you see, that's the other thing. I always found ballerinas too skinny. It's just, there's little sticks in the skirt.
It's horses for courses, isn't it? Some people like them skinny. Some people like them a bit cuddlier.
Well, I used to have a customer who, they were a couple who used to come in the bar all the time. They were both goths, but she was a ballerina. And he was telling us one night that some of the positions she was able to get into and maintain was insane. Whether that made the sex any better or not, I have no idea. But
I don't know. I'd find it a bit weird. I don't know.
Well, what I said to him was, but if she's in a weird position, then don't you have to be in a weird position as well? Do you not? And he was like, yes. And he said, I can't maintain those positions the way she can. So.
I mean, I can barely cut my own toenails.
Yeah.
Anything other than me on the bottom is out of the question now.
You've always been a lazy fucker.
Anyway, enough twaddle. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks, Richard, for standing in for Mark.
It's a pleasure. Always a pleasure, Mark.
Join us again next week when we will do another episode, which will be much better than our usual Mark episodes. And in the meantime, have yourselves a strange week. If you do come across a ghost story that has any merit whatsoever, please let us know. You can contact us at strangestuffpodcast@gmail.com or click one of the links on our show notes, because I'm sure they're there somewhere, and let us know. In the meantime, have yourselves a strange week. And if you do get a haunting in your house, sell the rights to The Conjuring for the next series in the franchise.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Make yourself some spirit dollars. Bye for now.
Mm-hmm.